Alright, so you're thinking about the Razer Leviathan V2, the gaming soundbar with the flashy lights and the big promises. It promises theater-quality THX audio and deep bass to transform your desk. But after using it for months, I have to give you an honest review and tell you the problems you won't hear from the ads. This video will save you $200. For the best price if you still want it, click the link in the description. Act 1. The alluring promise and the immediate letdown. Let's start with the unboxing. It feels premium. You get the sleek soundbar, a surprisingly hefty subwoofer, and the cables. Setup is simple. Plug in the power, connect the sub wirelessly, and use USB-C to your PC. The Razer Synapse software recognizes it instantly. You fire up a game, and the initial wow factor is real. The Razer Chroma RGB on the soundbar looks incredible. 18 zones of customizable light. It's like a rave for your monitor. The soundbar itself is compact and fits neatly under a monitor. Bluetooth 5.2 connects fast. First impressions. This is a slick, high-tech package. Therefore, you start to feel good about your purchase. But here's the first major problem, and it hits you fast. The software. Razer Synapse is, and I say this with a sigh, a notorious resource hog. It's the party guest who eats all your dip and then complains about the music. To access key features like THX Spatial audio, the headline feature, you must have Synapse running. This isn't a set-and-forget device. It's software dependent. If Synapse crashes, which it can, or if you're on a system that doesn't play nice with it, you lose control. You're stuck with basic stereo sound from a $200 bar. That's a fundamental flaw for a premium product. It's like buying a sports car that requires a specific app to unlock third gear. Therefore, let's talk about that headline feature, THX Spatial Audio. Razer markets this as advanced 7.1 surround sound for pinpoint accuracy. In practice, it's a mixed bag. For some games and movies, it creates a wider, more immersive soundstage. You might hear footsteps a bit more clearly to the side. However, for music and many other games, it introduces a strange, artificial quality. The audio can sound hollow, like it's echoing in a tin can. It often feels less like true surround, and more like a stereo signal with a reverb effect slapped on top. You'll find yourself constantly toggling it on and off, wondering which mode is actually correct. That's not confidence-inspiring, it's confusing. And remember, you need the software open to even make that choice. Act 2. The deep dive where the cracks really show. Now the sound quality itself, stripped of the software gimmicks. The soundbar has 2 full-range drivers. For mids and highs, it's fine. Dialogue in movies is clear, and game sounds are distinct. But it's not what I'd call rich or detailed, especially at this price. Compared to a good pair of bookshelf speakers or even some competing soundbars in this range, it sounds a bit thin. The audio lacks warmth and body. It's functional, not exceptional. It's the audio equivalent of a perfectly cooked but utterly unseasoned chicken breast. Therefore, you think the subwoofer will save it. The down-firing sub is supposed to deliver the rumble, and it does sort of. It provides bass, yes. Explosions have weight. But it's a boomy, one-note kind of bass. It lacks texture and precision. You feel it more than you hear it, and it doesn't integrate seamlessly with the soundbar. Often there's a disconnect. The mids and highs from the bar, and a separate asterisk thump asterisk from the floor. It doesn't feel like a cohesive system. For music, this is especially disappointing. A bass guitar line just becomes a vague low-end murmur. It's all punch, no melody. This subwoofer is the guy at the gym who only does bicep curls. But wait, there's more. The connectivity. The primary lossless connection is via USB-C, which is great for a PC. However, there is no optical input. None. If you want to connect this to a PlayStation, Xbox, or a TV directly, you're forced to use Bluetooth or the 3.5 auxiliary input. Bluetooth, even 5.2, introduces compression and slight latency, not ideal for gaming. The aux input is a downgrade in quality. For a product marketed as a premium audio solution for entertainment, the lack of a digital optical port is a baffling omission. It severely limits its versatility. Your shiny new soundbar is basically a PC peripheral, not a living room contender. Therefore, we have to address the elephant in the room, or rather, the disco ball on your desk, the RGB. Razer Chroma is stunning. The lighting effects are smooth, customizable, and can sync with games. It's genuinely cool, but it's also always on by default. If you want it off, you must, you guessed it, open Razer Synapse. There's no physical button on the bar to disable the lights. So if you're watching a movie in a dark room and want immersion, you're blasted with a rainbow of light from under your screen. It's immersive in the same way a neon sign in a library would be. The lights are a feature that actively fights against the audio immersion it's supposed to create. Act 3. The verdict and who should actually buy this. Let's recap the problems. First, mandatory finicky software for core features. Second, a spatial audio mode that often sounds worse than stereo. Third, mediocre, thin sound from the bar and a boomy, unrefined subwoofer. Fourth, a crippling lack of optical input, locking you to PC. And fifth, gorgeous RGB you can't easily turn off. For $200, these aren't minor quirks, they're deal breakers. This product feels like a collection of ideas, THX, RGB, Bluetooth, that were never fully baked into a cohesive, high-fidelity experience. It's a jack of all trades and a master of none, except maybe lighting. So, who is this for, if anyone? Honestly, it's for the absolute Razer devotee who lives inside the Synapse ecosystem and values RGB synchronization above all else. If your entire setup is Razer, and you want the lights on your mouse, keyboard, mousepad, and soundbar to pulse as one, this completes the set. It's also for someone who prioritizes a clean, minimal desk with a single soundbar and who only uses a PC. For that very specific person, it works. For everyone else, the gamers who want versatile, great sound for multiple consoles, the movie lovers, the music listeners, there are better options. Therefore, what should you consider instead? For a PC-focused setup, a good pair of powered studio monitors like the PreSonus Aris or Audio Engine A2 Plus will offer vastly superior sound clarity and fidelity for a similar price, just without the flashy lights or the sub-bass rumble. If you want a soundbar for your TV or multiple inputs, brands like Vizio, Polk, or even Creative Labs offer models with more connectivity and often better balanced sound for less money. The point is, you have choices that don't come with this many caveats. In conclusion, my final take on the Razer Leviathan V2 is this. It's a style over substance product. The problems are fundamental to its design and software reliance. It looks the part on a streaming setup, but the audio performance doesn't justify the price tag or the hassle. Don't buy the Razer Leviathan V2 if you care primarily about sound quality and simplicity. It's a lesson that sometimes the products with the most lights cast the biggest shadows over their flaws. If you want to check the current price on Amazon for yourself, the link is in the description. Thanks for watching.